Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Faye Bishop Report, where the culture is news. I'm going to be discussing my favorite topic in this episode, money. Why am I going to be discussing money? Because it's important and we don't talk about it enough. At least not the way we should in our community, especially considering our current conditions and what economists everywhere are predicting to come down the line for us in the years ahead. Far be it from me to tell one how to spend their money, but I think it's very important to understand what exactly is going on within our community and why we should start to take a look at money differently than we have before. I'd also like to say that this episode was also inspired by someone who tagged me in a thread he posted on his social media page. And he posed the question, if, and that's a big if, we have reparations for Black Americans, are we actually ready to manage and invest the money as a whole? And that's actually a very, 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 very good question, because in my personal opinion, we're not. Why aren't we? Because as a whole, the bulk of us are not financially literate. And to me, that's a problem, a big problem. It's a problem because not only are we a group of emotional spenders, but we are so socially conditioned to consumerism. It is not even funny. And while consumerism isn't a Black thing, that's not what I'm saying at all. It's actually an American thing. It is the nucleus of capitalism and how it works in this country. However, we cannot afford to be socially caught up in consumerism the way we are. Why? Well, because Black people sit at the bottom totem pole of the wealth distribution cap in this country. There is virtually no wealth that exists in the Black community. And you can name all the NBA players, the Jay-Z's and the Diddy's and the Beyoncé's and Oprah's and Tyler Perry's all you want. There is no wealth. And as I stated in my last video, wealth inequality is growing in this country. And by Black people being at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of virtually no wealth existing among us and none being distributed to us, if what economists are saying is true and is correct, we're just going to continue to go further and further and further into a deeper abyss that we may not be able to come out of, because when you cap on what the government has already done in terms of systematic racism and opportunity being blocked and kept from us, combined with our shitty spending habits and our addiction to consumerism, it's just going to push us further and further into a deep financial abyss that it is likely going to take 50 to 100 years to come back from for our group. Specifically, you have to be careful with consumerism because it could be difficult to separate our wants from our needs. Not being able to differentiate the difference between the two makes it hard to manage money, which makes it hard for us to save, which makes us hard to do anything else. We are conditioned to believe that no matter how much we have, we always need more. It's literally part of who we grow up to become. And it's now becoming part of who we are growing old to be. Don't get me wrong, systematic racism and the government plays a huge part in this wealth inequality issue and why wealth has not been distributed equally amongst everyone in this country. But the fact of the matter is, as this young man posed in his question, if reparations were given to us tomorrow, what is our next move? What are we ready to manage and invest it? What are we going to do with it? The fact of the matter is that we don't know. We don't know because we don't have respect for money. All we know how to do is spend it. And that's because we live in a culture where many people actually believe, especially our people believe, the more you spend, the more you actually have. The more you have, it means you're wealthy. Not true. Absolutely not true. But it just goes to show you how financially illiterate we are and how bad our consumerism is. It's really out of control. We live in an era where social status is the new currency. It's why we take photos of everything we do. We are literally now pimping our lifestyles out on social media in a get like me fashion because the culture has it where our pedigree in class is now based strictly on social engagement and how much we have and how much we receive rather than how much of ourselves we give and who we really are when we aren't logged on and how much we share with others. If you really take a step back to evaluate how deep our consumerism has, how out of control it's gotten, just look at how everyone behaves on social media. Everyone is a performer now. It's like they're the star of their own reality show. I don't know where this came from. I don't know why. But just, again, take a step back and scroll through your feed one day. Randomly. Don't like nothing, just look. Look at how often people are lying about their lifestyles. Taking pictures of everything they buy. There's a perceived need to perform our ambitions now on a publicly documented platform. And everyone's doing it rather in order to keep pace with their friends. And they're so caught up in it, especially the Black community from what I'm seeing. Just so caught up in it. They don't know how to stop it. And everybody's doing it for one reason and one reason only. They either want to keep the pace with their peers or they want to outdo them. Apparently living an unfiltered lifestyle goes against the norm and is seen as a risk. In other words, if you're not living like a celebrity or at least trying to, you're doing it wrong. Meanwhile, tons of money is being spent. Nobody is doing any legitimate investing and Black people are getting broker by the year. And you know what I find interesting about all of this is that you have all of these woke people on social media. Everybody's woke. All of these internet personalities with tons and tons and tons of followers. And yet only a small handful is trying to teach financial literacy. You'll find a lot of these same woke people talking about Donald Trump all day long. They'll talk about racism all day long. They'll talk about a police shooting all day long. They'll talk about a school shooting all day long. And then when they're not doing any of that, they're talking about their favorite celebrity all doggone day long. But you can't tell your fellow brother or sister how to go open up so much as a checking account. You can't teach them why it's important to have life insurance. And again, that's what I mean by we're not in a place where we should be. No matter how good or bad you think what I'm saying is, or how you want to frame your argument to counter what I'm saying, we are not in a good place. And the way we've been going about this isn't working. So we need to try something else. Even if it's to prepare for what economists are forecasting is coming. While no, we may not be able to totally and completely avoid it, in the very least, it won't put us in such a hole past the point of no return. And while we may not have a lot by comparison to our white counterparts, we can try to manage in the very least with what we have. It's doable. And anyone who claims it's not doable is lying. It's doable. All it takes is us coming up with better strategies on how to manage our money. As far as the conversation about reparations, I can tell you it's not coming. I think Stevie Wonder can see that it's not coming. Our country has a large deficit. We're broke. The country is broke. We may not be nowhere near Venezuela or Puerto Rico status in terms of being bankrupt, but we're on the verge of it. With a president like Trump, every week he's signing something or vetoing something. That's where his focus is right now. And while him and Congress works on that, we need to work on us. So what can we as a community do? My personal opinion, the first step we need to take is to start by changing how we see money. Again, I have to go back to that. Start respecting money. Stop spending it. You can't build wealth, any type of wealth, if you don't respect money, period. Be honest about your status. If you don't have it like that, you don't have it. Stop trying to front and stunt for people you don't know, for your peers, and trying to copy celebrities. Let's start there. Again, in order to create a solution, we first have to acknowledge that a problem actually exists. In my opinion, that's the first step. Having an honest conversation about our status. Because Black people are broke. There is no getting around that. But now that we know we're broke, the question now is, now what? What do we do about it? Because we all got families that we have to feed and support. Yes, in the meantime, meaning today, tomorrow, next week, and the week after that. So we need to talk and have come up with some solutions now. We need to deal with what's in the now. So let me know what you think about that. What are some strategic ways we can, as a collective, can learn how to better manage our money, invest it, and keep the dollar, the Black dollar, circulating in our community? So let me know what you think in the comments, because we're definitely going to keep the dialogue about this money issue going beyond this video. So don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. I'll chat with you later, guys.